Hello Ken, welcome to the Skeptic Ministries. With me, the Bishop Skeptic. I hope you're well. So, what do you want to talk about today?
Many people are perplexed by the topic of dinosaurs. Where did they come from? When did they live? What happened to them? You see, when you dig up a dinosaur skeleton, it doesn't come with a label attached saying, "Hi, I'm 65 million years old and this is what happened to me."
Well, it sort of does. You just don't know how to read it. We have a huge amount of data to draw on. First of all, the relative age of rocks is easy. Mostly, apart from odd geology, the lower you go, the older rocks get. We can then use a clever little technique called radiometric dating to assess when rocks were laid down. It's not rocket science, Ken.
We have to interpret that skeleton in relation to the past. So where did dinosaurs come from? What happened to them? When did they live? I want to show you that when you take God at his word in the book of Genesis, that we can explain dinosaurs, and observational science actually confirms that explanation based upon the Bible.
Observational science, Ken? You're not trying that shit again, are you? Just because you don't like the data that's presented, it doesn't mean you get to call it invalid by fabricating pseudoscientific buzzwords. By all means, try to prove it wrong. That's what science is all about. But I think you're talking historical religion, which, by your own definition, no one has ever seen, as opposed to observable religion, which clearly needs a bloody big magnifying glass.
See, the Bible tells us that God made the land animals on day 6 of creation. And who else was created on day 6? Well, Adam and Eve. And how long ago was that? Well, when you add up all the dates in the Bible, about 6,000 years. So, taking God at his word in Genesis, dinosaurs lived beside people about 6,000 years ago.
Yeah, I've got to stop you there, mate. What the fuck are you talking about? Seriously, I always lose it at 6,000 years. I've only just stopped laughing. We have trees older than 6,000 years, and well over a century of scientific data that shows the age of the Earth to be 750,000 times older. But after your debate with Bill Nye, you're well aware of these things, so why do you persist in lying, Ken? You do remember it's a sin to lie.
And they were vegetarian to start with. Genesis chapter 1 verse 29 tells us that all the animals are vegetarian. But then Adam sinned, and because of sin, everything changed.
Everything changed, man. Everything changed.
The whole of creation now groans because of sin. In fact, after the event of Noah's flood, God told Noah that now humans could eat meat, could eat animal flesh. But before that time, they were instructed only to be vegetarian. So sometime after sin, obviously animals started changing their diets as well.
Are you telling me herbivores evolved into carnivores? Isn't that kind of change a change of kind that isn't possible, Ken? Like a cow changing into a lion. So, the Bible proves macroevolution. Well done, mate. I don't think I've even seen an atheist use that one before. I'll have to remember it for the evolution video I'm going to make on you.
And the Bible tells us that there was a global flood, and 2 of every kind of land-dwelling, air-breathing animal went on board the boat that Noah built, Noah's Ark.
Oh yes, you have a book. And in your book is everything worth knowing. Like how you should kill your children if they disobey you. Nice book, Ken.
Now, people often say, wait a minute, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dinosaur kinds. No, there might be hundreds of dinosaur names, and many of those names are given to different variations within a dinosaur kind. But when you actually work through it, there's probably less than 50 dinosaur kinds. The T-Rex type kind, the raptor type kind, the sauropod type kind, and so it goes on. And the other thing to remember is that the average size of a dinosaur is only the size of a sheep or a German shepherd dog or a small pony or something like that. You see, some of the dinosaurs did grow large, like the sauropods, but even they hatched from eggs and were once young adults, and so would not have been that large. Actually, there was plenty of room on board Noah's Ark.
Now you really are talking out of your arse, mate. There are approximately 300 known valid genera of dinosaurs, and many more yet to be named and classified. I'm assuming genus is as close to kind as I'm going to get, as you refuse to define your terms and seem to use it however suits you. So, 300 genera, let's say one species per genus is 600 animals, and I think we should probably double the figure to account for synapsids and amphibian-like reptiles. Oh, and pterosaurs, so maybe 1,200 animals. Most of which had to travel a long distance, so very young animals are not an option.
For 2 of every kind of the dinosaur kind. And I'm sure that God chose those young adults that were ready for the new world to populate in the new world. What happened to those land animals that didn't go on board the ark? They were drowned. Many of them turn into fossils. The dinosaur fossils we find, most of them probably come from the time of the flood, over 4,300 years ago, and therefore they're only thousands of years old, not millions of years old. Those that came off the ark started to spread out over the earth, and then, because of changing conditions, many animals have become extinct, including the dinosaurs. Really, for animals to become extinct is nothing new. We see it happening every year.
I think if you can show even the remotest bit of evidence that dinosaurs died out only 4,300 years ago, show us. Enlighten the world. I'm serious. You have the opportunity to win the Nobel Prize, to change the world forever, and convert millions or even billions of people. Well, where is it? Okay, let me guess. Is it a fossil in the wrong layer? No? What about a dinosaur with a spear wound? No? Maybe some evidence radiometric dating is inaccurate when being used in the correct way? No? Dunno, Ken. I'm completely at a loss.
Now, is there any evidence that's consistent with that explanation of dinosaurs? Actually, there is lots of evidence consistent with that. We have dragon legends all over the earth. Just
Have you been talking to Megan Fox, the Dragon Lady?
as we have flood legends. Flood legends attest to the fact there was a real flood. Dragon legends attest to the fact there were real animals called dragons, and the descriptions of those creatures in many instances fit the dinosaurs.
You have been talking to Megan Fox, because she thinks dinosaurs closely fit the description of having wings and breathing fire too.
And they have a skull on display that is clearly a dragon. There's no other way to describe it. It's a dragon skull. It's got horns, like here. It's got a long snout, big pointy teeth, bumps all over its face, bones. So you can imagine that the skin was stretched over this thing. It clearly looks like the dragons of drawings. Very clear. So my kids, when we get down there, and immediately one of them says, "Mom, it's a dragon." And I look at it and I say, "My God, it is a dragon. I've never seen anything like that. It looks just like a dragon. It is. It's a dragon." And my mom says, "It's a dragon. Look at this." Well, the technician goes, "Oh, no. That's not a dragon. No. I'm like, "What do you mean it's not a dragon?" She says, "No, that's a dinosaur." Okay, well, yeah, but look at it. It looks like we know what we're talking about, right? Like a dragon with horns and the whole deal. Oh, no, it's not a dragon. Dragons. And the thing is, it looks just like a dragon. We have to ask ourselves, do we believe, there's no evidence yet of flying dragons, of, fire-breathing dragons. However, there's plenty of people around the world throughout the ages who wrote these stories about dragons, who drew pictures of dragons, who said they saw dragons. And then we have this dragon skull that looks exactly like a dragon that people have drawn from the stories. And yet, here's this woman in a lab coat saying to me, "That is not a dragon. No. It's a dinosaur." Just... Language is important, people. It really is. I maintain that is a dragon.
And then there are cave paintings all over the earth done by people hundreds of years ago who drew animals that they were familiar with. And some of those paintings look just like the dinosaurs.
No, they don't. Cave paintings tend to be relatively easy to tell what animal they're of. So, can you show me some dinosaurs? No, you can't, because there are none. There is a patch on some rock that if you squint a bit it might look a bit like a sauropod if someone tells you what to look for. But compared to the clear drawings of deer or cow-like beasts, it's probably a stain on the rock.
And there's even indication in the Bible of a dinosaur that lived beside a man after the flood. Go and read the book of Job, Job chapter 40, verse 15. Behemoth, the largest land animal God made. The description fits something like a sauropod dinosaur living with Job after the flood.
Let's take a quick look at Job, shall we? Look at Behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loins, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar. The sinews of its thighs are close-knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze, its limbs like rods of iron. It ranks first among God's work. Yet its maker can approach it with his sword. The hills bring it their produce, and the wild animals play nearby. Under the lotus plants it lies, hidden among the reeds in the marsh. The lotuses conceal it in their shadow, the poplars by the stream surround it. A raging river does not alarm it. It is secure. Though the Jordan should rage against its mouth, can anyone capture it by the eyes, or trap it, and pierce its nose? Bones of bronze, and small enough to hide beneath the lotus. Could you point out to me which bit means dinosaur? I'm guessing it's the tail moves like a cedar, but how does moving like a cedar make something a dinosaur? I could understand if it was as big as a cedar, or as tall as a cedar, but moving like a cedar tells us nothing. I would point out, though, that something that eats grass like an ox and hides under water lilies is probably a hippo.
We've also found, in our present world, dinosaur bones with what appear to be red blood cells and soft tissue still in them, indicating they can't be millions of years old.
What appear to be blood cells? What appear to be? You bastard! Weasel words are weaselly. Even the scientist studying them calls them round microstructures. Let me quote her on her treatment by creationists.
They treat you really bad. They twist your words and they manipulate your data.
You can even qualify your statement with what appear, so no one can accuse you of lying. But I will grant you that 68 million year old soft tissue is amazing.
You know, when people ask me what happened to the dinosaurs, my usual answer is, well, they died. But of course, they didn't die out millions of years ago. Many died at the time of the flood, and those that were alive on Noah's Ark, their descendants died out sometime after the flood. It's the Bible's history that explains dinosaurs.
So, Ken, a book that, as we saw earlier, clearly doesn't describe a dinosaur is proof of dinosaurs and man living together. I think you spent a little bit too much time hanging around the Creation Museum. Hit that like and subscribe. Go on, you know you want to.